reducing service time, mean and variability. So in the previous video segment, I said that if you reduce arrival variability, you will reduce average waiting time. Another opportunity is to reduce service time variability, but in fact, we can also reduce the average service time and help reduce the waiting time that customers experience. So there are two ways, basically. We can standardize activities such that there is less variability in the service time, and we can also shorten the service time, right? So the first one will be seen as lower coefficient of variation of the service time, and the second one will be seen as lower average service time, P. However, we need to be careful in order not to hurt the service quality, right? When we try to improve operational efficiency and make the service time shorter, for example, reduce call durations, right? We might hurt quality as perceived by customers. For example, the customers may say the operators are not as friendly as they used to be, right? So call centers will actually invest a lot in training in order to reduce service time variability or even reduce service time as well, average, in order to reduce average waiting time, but without impairing courtesy. Here is an example of a study that was done for 5 operators, comparing 5 operators on their call durations. Notice short call durations are here at the top, and friendliness or courtesy as measured by some kind of customer feedback is shown here. High is here, low is here. So you see that there are maybe these operators that are perceived as friendly and have reasonable call durations. This one is also efficient because its call duration is much better than those, but it's much less friendly. And at least this operator is very efficient, but perhaps the call center managers would prefer that his friendliness improves and perhaps at the cost of increased call durations. Clearly, this operator is inefficient, as seen by this comparison, right? The call duration on average for this operator is much longer, and also he's not or she's not perceived as friendly. So there is definitely some potential for improvement here. Even accounting for some specific requirements of each customer, at least part of the service can be standardized. So, for example, we can try to use scripts in a call center or even in fast food restaurants, ask customers in certain ways that will reduce the confusion, for example, or improve the speed of interaction. However, you cannot avoid completely the randomness, because customer plays a crucial part in the activity, right? You interact with the customer has to say exactly what they want, for example, what products they want to order from a fast food restaurant, or what kind of question they have when they call a call center, right? One way to improve the situation, the processes, is to reduce customer involvement during a bottleneck step. So, for example, we might have in a banking situation, when you have a call center for a banking service, often the critical step that you always have to do is identify the customer. One idea is to have a mobile application on a smartphone that the customer can install and do the identification once, and then they can call from that app. And therefore, when they reach from this application the call center, the bank can be certain that about the identity of the customer, and then they save considerable time this way, right? If there are multiple steps, sometimes it is actually desirable, on the other hand, to involve the customer when they have to wait, and in order to reduce the pain of waiting, or right, the perception of long waiting time, you might want to involve customer. A good example is if you have, let's say, waiting in an amusement park, and there's a long waiting line, a customer has to wait, let's say, 30, 40, 50 minutes. There are displays, there are things that happen while, next to the waiting line that may make the waiting of the customer more pleasant and right, and reduce the perception of the negative perception of waiting. In some cases, variability may indicate quality problems. So if you have a service time that takes on average 2, 3, 4 minutes, but every now and then you need 10 minutes, it might be that there is a problem that your employee cannot solve, and they have to ask maybe supervisor for advice or someone else, and this is what takes a lot of time. So if you have a case like variability, very high service time variability, you might consider whether there are some problems that you might address